What's up, guys? This is Aaron from Gear Up, and welcome to a belated episode. And yes, it's been a month and a half, believe it or not, a month and a half since I last published anything of reasonable value for you guys. So I apologize and I thank you for your patience and for standing by me. But I have good reason because if you look in the background here and there, no, this is not a massive tech unboxing, and I wish it was. But we're moving. We're moving from California to Maine. And some people have asked me, are you ready to lose your tan and be depressed for 6 months during the winter? And I'm honestly not sure. But as some of you know, I am a missionary, and it's just not wise to be a missionary on support money to live in California. It's just too much of that goes into living expenses, and I'd rather do that for use the money for missions itself. So we found Maine as a great place where there's low cost of living, awesome lobster, great food, great people, even though they're 98% white. So I'll be bumping up the Asian ratio there. Anyways, my wife has a great job, dream job there, great schools for our son, so it's gonna be awesome. But anyways, I know I owe you guys a little bit about the Verge and talk about the ergonomics and the software experience. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit as best as I can because I'm trying to keep this video as short with little cuts as possible because most of my kit and gear are packed up in boxes, so I'm relying on my Pixel and my little Zoom One mic and my little laptop to do some editing later. And I hope this turns out okay. It's a make or break thing right here. So stay tuned, and we're gonna talk about the watch and what the future of Gear Up is gonna be further down the road. It's bright, and I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, let's cue the intro. You probably already know that I'm a big fan of the Verge as opposed to its older brother, the Stratus. This thing is a nice balance, aside from one or two features that the Stratus has, like VO max tracking and a nice bezel and all that kind of stuff. This thing is really nice in terms of its nice blend of materials and what it's really useful. If you're looking for an activity tracker that is light on your wrist and has a lot of features in it, this would be it. The downside is you can't really swim. It's not rated for 50 or 30 ATM. It's just IP67 if I remember correctly. And it's not bad. You can submerge it and all that kind of stuff. You can swim in it, but I wouldn't push it as much as I would with the bip. For some reason, the bip and the Stratus can handle a whole lot more. This one, I think it's because of the speaker grill. Can guarantee you is the speaker grill that is probably the weak point of it, where eventually water can get in. I know it's protected. I know the speaker has water repellency, but it's all down to quality control, right? It's all down to what quality of the part is, and it's a weak point. So I'd rather have a fully sealed watch than have a speaker. We all were lauding and praising the integration of Alexa into this last video, the 2 videos ago, and I was happy to use it for a long time. But then it suddenly just dropped off. I was like, I don't use it as often as I thought I would because I have my phone on me, or I can just yell out to one of my smart speakers at home and get the job done the same way. So even outdoors, you can barely hear the result. So really the point of it is, I don't know, it's just a wow factor, but nothing that I will use every day. So if you're buying this watch and saying, oh, it doesn't have, or looking at a watch and saying, oh, whether it has an Alexa or whatever, it shouldn't be in your budget or shopping list criteria because the speakers are so soft, it's no point. Okay, unless you're using headphones. But otherwise, this has been great. Now, what Amazfit has been amazing at doing, pardon the pun, but you guys built that in your name. You were smart at marketing. Amazfit has been great at updating the software. They keep updating it, and one thing that has changed that is the biggest bane for me for using the Stratus was the UI. The UI in the front, on the frontal widgets, compared and varied differently in terms of the touch zones, what you can touch and what you can't touch, was different in the sub menus when you go into the settings to change the volume and brightness. Now it's consistent. You can do this. The same tap zones are identical between the front and the back. So front and back as in like foreground, background apps. So I thank you, Amazfit, for listening to your fans, and I hope you keep up the good work. Now, with that said, I can't wait to see what the Verge 2 will be like. I know there are going to be 2 versions, one with I think just the EKG, the other one with EKG and a SIM card. I'm not a fan of the SIM card thing, because one thing I like about this in terms of usability and what Amazfit in general has been known for, and please listen to me on this, is, I'm talking to Amazfit, is the battery life. Bit was 30 days or so. This thing was 45 days, and it has varied, and I'll talk to that in a little bit. But the Verge 2, the one with the SIM card, I think I read somewhere that says it's only a 1-day watch. Yes, now it's part of the other Android watch crowd, which is the reason why I don't look at them really, because I don't want to be charging my watch every day. It's just a pain in the butt. Especially if I like to sleep track, I like to have it on my wrist rather than on a charging dock, right? It makes sense. Anyways, this battery has been varying. It started out with 5 days. If you remember my first 2 videos, it started with 5 days. And then I thought with an integration of Alexa, it would knock it down to 4 days. And true enough, it did knock it down to 4 days. But then when I got this replacement watch, if you remember the power button issue, watch my other video, my past video to find out what happened there. But when I got a replacement watch and I took off Alexa for a while just to see if the battery it was still staying at 4 days. And I had the exact same notification set up, same brightness. And for some reason it was still 4 days. So I haven't been able to bump it up to 5. So I don't know if it's an early production thing also, or there's some software, because of the software update, something is more battery sapping, and I hope that they can optimize it a little bit more. Because Amazfit, 5 days, this is great. 5 days you can wear it the whole work week and just charge it on a weekend night and be done, rather than worrying about it in the middle of the week or something. It's easier to keep track in your head. I like round numbers, so but because I'm not good at math. One thing that irks me about this watch is the charging experience, or rather the charger. The charger in the Stratus and this one, as you remember me mentioning before, they share the same 4 pins, and so theoretically they are able to charge each other. But the shape of the cradle don't match. Their cutouts are only match their own design of the watches. And I said, why can't it be flat? And so, like, say in a scenario where you bring 2 watches on a trip and just want to bring 1 charger, that's not an option. So that kind of sucks. But I did notice, I hope it's true, on the Verge 2, I noticed some of the pictures showing the charger, and the charger is flat with the 4 pins. So I'm not sure how it holds onto it magnetically, or there's some kind of grip, but it's flat. So potentially all 3 watches can charge on that same cradle. Amazfit, is that true? I appreciate it. Thank you for listening if that's correct. Another great ergonomic feature, which I wish it was standardized across the industry, is the incorporation of the little tab up here on this small strap. Because when you have your watch around your wrist like so, and you have it locked in and push through the strap, half of the time this thing pops out. But look, in this case, that little tab above here locks it right where you want to, so it doesn't come flopping around and when you're working out, or it catches into your clothes and such. This is an amazing thing, and I believe it should be standardized. So Watch Industry Association standard folks, make this a mandate. Another thing that jumps out quite literally is the screen. I just love how bright the screen is. Look at this thing. It's an OLED, and it's just like any other cell phone screen out there, especially indoors. It just pops. The colors pop. The icons are solid. Everything is so colorful. I love how this thing, when I scroll through the data, it just speaks to me. It just pops, and I just love reading it. But the downside is I wish it pushes more nits. Outdoors, oh my goodness, it's horrible. Or maybe switch to some kind of e-ink secondary screen like some other ones. The Bit, for example, because this outdoors just really blows. The Stratus kind of worked because it was LCD, but this thing really struggles in the brightness of the sunlight, or even nighttime with lights shining down on it. It's really hard to see. But I understand it was a dance of battery life and brightness. But I hope there is a technology advancement at some point where we can either bump up the brightness while being more efficient, have a new screen technology, or have some kind of more advanced battery tech. I don't mind paying a little bit more. I know there are new, more dense batteries for the size, and maybe Amazfit consider that. We'll pay more because battery life is important, but screen brightness, legibility outdoors, especially if you're talking about fitness. And sometimes when I'm trying to check my time on my lap or whatnot, I'm like, I can't see. So I have to do this, you know, the good old, what is this? But this is something that is great indoors, the screen, and is a great step forward and a great, you know, view of the future. But there's got to be some kind of balance. I hope we find something there. Now, allow me to talk a little bit about the Amazfit companion app, aptly named Amazfit app. Yes, say that 5 times really fast. But Amazfit app, well, I have nothing much to say about it because it's so basic, it's so bland and boring, and actually kind of old. Because that's the one thing, the UI has not changed much since its inception. Because the settings are hard to get, it's hard to figure out compared to the watch. Like, if the things that I think are settings for the watch belong in the app side, but then under connected watches, some things that are in there should belong to the app, and I'm like, I don't get it. And it's hard to look at information. Now in the past, when we were using the bip, I was connected to the MiFit app. That was a whole lot better, and it's getting better every day. It looks so much nicer. The Amazfit app, at least on Android and even now iOS, should have a dark mode, and that thing does not. It's just when you turn on, it's like just one bright white screen with very little data. And I wish up front they had more bigger widgets and just more data for you to crunch through, and just more fun to use, and more social, a bigger social aspect to it would be nice too. Bigger connectivity to different apps besides this Strava would be amazing. So I hope you do something about that, Amazfit. You've been warned. So granted, that was a pretty short video on ergonomics and software. I hope that's enough to get you through the day. The button has not caused me any more problems since its last issue. I really chalk it up to an early production model thing because I've not heard anything else or from people saying, hey, I have the same problem. So I hope this little software / ergonomics update video ties you over for a day or two or so, because it'll be a while before I publish something new. It'll take me about 3 or 4 weeks to move out there, maybe settle down, and then have to figure out the studio situation because the house that we're in is from 1900s. So it has vaulted ceilings, wooden floors, and so the sound absorption stuff, I have to figure that out. But another format I want to try is vlogging. It's super awkward for me, but the vlogging part, I'm super excited because when I went to visit this town called Bangor, Maine, is what we're moving to. Bangor, Maine is in the Horn of the United States. It's old, it's small, but it has a young vibe with the university out there. So I just want to take you with me on your screen to tour the city, check out its sites, and talk about things that are relevant to this channel also, and talk about the tech, culture, cars, outdoor climbing, and all that kind of stuff. And we're going to talk about it. And like I said, it's going to be awkward for me to, you know, doing in public, vlogging, people staring at me. But the city has 98% white people, and they're going to be staring at this Asian guy regardless. So I'm like, win-win situation. They're staring at me anyway, so why not just vlog? So we're going to do that and try that out, I hope. And I really appreciate you guys, by the way, for standing by me and staying supportive. And thanks for watching. Now, remember that I'm on Patreon. And also remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Kindly do that. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mortician and dermatologist about my channel. And thumbs up if you like this video. That's important. And thumbs down. Thumbs down if you think that YouTubing and vlogging is easy. Are you kidding me? You think it's easy? This thing is so stressful. It ties up so much of my resources and my time. It is hard to do, and it's really, you're right. It's so easy. It's an easy thing if you really wanted to. Even my son's 5th graders, 10-year-old friends have YouTube channels who have more subscribers than I do. Thanks for watching, guys. That's all I got, and I'll see you on the flip side of the country in a few weeks or so. Thank you for everything. Remember to do something nice for someone today and love someone. Peace out and all the best. Whoosh.